Hello guys, new prediction for next week. Quick recap for last week prediction. Last week prediction, basically my bias was to the downside for continuation. We saw the bouncing on the support, but because of this candle I was biased for the downside. We didn't see the divergence, so it was continuation, but the market, the S&P and the Qs decided to push up and reject it again, so it's gonna be interesting. So basically I had I think about 75% correct. I was wrong about a SPY, I think also by the Q, but we're gonna follow it. But with Tesla I was amazingly correct, and with Apple and Nvidia also. So let's check it up for a new prediction. So we had a bounce for the upside. Again, we had you see the candle, a big sell-off, and immediately push to the upside. And again, we see the fight. Momentum is struggling on the zero, trying to be a bearish one, and it seems that it bounce on the 50, so there is a definitely fight. So why don't just sit and watch who winning and join it? If it crossed above, continue for the upside. If it crossing below, it will push for the few support and close some gaps. Watch it on the daily. You can see the candle trying to push up again, trying to push up, but losing power. You see there is no volume. You see the divergence we talk about on the daily for continuation for the upside. And it immediately came. I thought it will give a little bit more, one more candle, two more candle for the downside. So if we take about this one, and we had something like this, I thought it will push a little bit lower, maybe for the even touch the 50, even 60, and then try to push, and it just push with a big header at the opening. But as you can see, volume is going down, 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 and I want to see the sellers like here with a bigger volume. So on the daily you don't see it. If we check the weekly, we had the first week of January red, and immediately push for the upside. So a good sign for continuation, trying to attack again the all-time high and break it and squeeze it to the upside. If we check it here on the Fibonacci level there, you could see how it's sitting on the 6180 nicely and then bouncing up, which is very nice. So at the moment, if we take the extension and try to predict where is the move gonna end, you can see 187 for the 100%, and maybe even up. There is no divergence on the weekly. There is again this is the upside, but you can see it here. It already pushed above, and this is there is no divergence there, but could be divergence here. So any push higher, it will follow, but it can create another signal for reversal. So if it will push lower, it's gonna be very interesting. If we check it here on the 1 hour chart for the opening, what I saw here, this is the end, this is the big opening. The possibility for the short side was if it went below here. It didn't, it just opened up, close above, continuation for the upside, which was nice, and then resting here on the 200 for the 60-minute. And this is a break of trend, and there was a possibility that it will push higher and then reverse, and it push and continue a little bit more push. So definitely a big fight here. And now what we have here, you can see there is a divergence. This is lower low, this is higher low, and try to push higher and failed, and then you have this is higher high, this is lower high, this is for reversal. So again, bias for the downside, but I want to see confirmation yet. On the 4 hour chart, we don't see it, just struggling, trying to be a little bit more negative here. So just a little bit red candle, and it can cross below and then push the market for the downside. So let's go for the Qs. Where is my pen? Again, every time I forget my pen. Let's see if it's open. Yes. All right. So let's continue. Again, with the Qs, we see a deeper pullback. It was much weaker than the SPY, but it's okay. It's more volatile compared to the SPY, and it pushed higher, was negative, and then became positive. And this one is was in the negative momentum territory, but with a divergence for the upside. And again, could be interesting because again we are in between zone, a sideways zone, and the market can continue to move something like this, up, down, down, down again, and then try to push up. It can do so a week or two. Remember 19th of January, I think this is the expiration of the option. Could be very interesting to see. I think many people wait a little bit outside and to see the result and the outcome. Here again, if we check the divergence, there is another divergence there. If we check the Fibonacci extension, we can see it cross the 50 and then bounce from it. Usually the Qs like the 6180. If we take the Fibonacci levels, and here and there you can see this is first target, second target, second target. Could be very interesting for it for continuation. People wait for the break. It's very positive at the moment, so don't try to fight against the trend. You can see the momentum coming from the upside even though it's closed in red. If we check it on the weekly, you can see how it ends. Red first week, higher volume, you can see it here, and green one. So again, big fight on the all-time high zone. If we check it on the 1 hour chart to see how it looks, this is a break of trend coming back for the breaks. So usually this is a short seller's position. If they break off the trend, you can see the break here, negative, and then coming back to retest. A lot of people will join here below the 395. If we check, I didn't tell about the, maybe I will do it with the SPY. At the moment Qs seem positive, but closing below the 408 could push it downside a little bit down to retest the 404, and below going for the 396. Could be interesting. At the moment it seems a little bit positive, but there is yeah, it seems still strong, but in nowhere zone. People will wait above the 410.50 maybe to see if continuation 410 here, 410 to see continuation for the upside. They will wait something crossing above here for the upside, and they will wait for the 4.8 where it is, something clear for the downside. Could be very interesting. It's basically the same with the SPY. SPY give a little bit sign for weakness, but crossing below the 475 for the downside, trying to touch again the 468, and then pushing below or closing above the 477.50 for the upside. If we go for Tesla, let me clear it up. With Tesla, checking it on the daily. Let's clear it up. Very amazing. We saw the continuation of the downside. We see several levels. Let's go for here. We saw the 232, and you have the key zone. You see how it breaks. When it breaks, moving here. Not that good for the 188, guys, but I think it will have few stops in the way at the 215. I think in 215 it can try to make a bounce, and below it can go for the 188. So very close, probably in this area, and then below going for the downside. At the moment Tesla very weak, not that great news about it, but anything can happened. This is not a nice candle with a big volume, so sellers in the house, sellers in control. No big gaps here to close, so looking for the buyers to come again, and the 200 could be a nice round number to buy from. There is no divergence there. If we go for the weekly and gonna see what happened, you can see the divergence on the weekly, so it means that they are watching on the weekly basis, so it's gonna be a little bit more down for the 200. You can see it here, 200 and the $200 value. This is the divergence, higher high, this is lower high, continuation, reversal for the down. People can say that they can see something like this if it crosses it. Continue for the 115 again, retest could be very interesting for Tesla. But this is the weekly. If we check it up here, we talked about it, we don't see anything special. But again, any move for the upside, if it won't cross it, the 236, it will immediately meet the sellers for continuation for the downside. You can see momentum is very negative. If we check for the 1 hour chart, you can see here. This is the break. Try to take out and take in all the buyers and then immediately push them down. Could be very interesting. Let's move on for Apple. So Apple, let's again, Apple at the weekly, open negative, inside candle, so not that good, not much volume, waiting for the market to decide. Seems a little bit negative, but in a positive run in the longer term. If we look at the daily, you can see it interesting. You can see the move for the downside. Founding a support, this is what moves for the market. Again, same move, but see what happened. If it move above, it will create divergence for the downside. If it's move like this, and let's say it move like this, closing the gap, it will create divergence, which will bring the seller. So you know what, guys, let's take some Fibonacci level from this one, and amazingly he touched the 192 at the 6180, and if we take the extension and something like this, you have the level, the 172. It doesn't seem that good, because if Apple will break for the downside, it can push the market, and also with Tesla. And we're gonna check Nvidia, but let's see it on the 4-hour chart. You can see it started to become negative. It need to break for the upside. It started to be a little bit positive. No divergence there. Yes, divergence here. So people will wait below the 183 for pushing for the downside, or even let it continue closing the gap at the 192 and then pushing for the downside. So a little bit tricky, because it can give for the day trader a benefit and the swinger a good time with the short position if it will wait and see how it reacts. And for investor, not that good. Let's move for Nvidia. I didn't check, sorry. I didn't check the 1 hour to see how it looks. It touched the dynamic support. You can see the volume there. Could be interesting to see what happened. Let's look at it a little bit more closely. There is a, I don't know if you can call it a gap. No divergence, no divergence. Here a little bit, maybe divergence. When I don't see it clearly, it could mean continuation, but it needs to break some key level. End of the session, big volume. Nothing much to say about what we already did. Nvidia, look at it. Nvidia break the 500. I said I even didn't touch, even if it get for the 550. I wish it would be my prediction, but it didn't. So I will wait, and many people will wait for coming back. And you know what? Sometimes stocks like to just move on and fly away. Blue sky, you call it, or they call it, I don't know. Good break, good volume, good continuation, very interesting. If you check it on the weekly, you can see, wow, nice volume, nice break, little bit divergence, but no confirmation. So if we're gonna see if on the weekly red, very interesting. Lots of short sellers we get in. If we see a red candle, I don't know, people usually say let's go for the 50% of the candle, and if it will be weak and half and cross it and break it below, many short sellers will enter to the market. Could be very interesting at the moment. Strong, don't fight it, join it. You can see the no divergence there, no divergence there. A little bit weakness for reversal could be interesting. You can see it and it grows. Many people will wait for it for the 50 to see how it reacts. If we check it on the 1 hour chart, positive, 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 still positive. Moving for the downside, momentum is weakening, cross below the 50, coming back up, fighting, fighting, fighting. A little bit small divergence for the upside. Meta. Meta. All right, I didn't touch it, guys, so I don't know. I need to check if it was from the last video, but you can see, okay, it touched. So this is the weekly. If we go for the daily, you can see it finished its move. It can continue. There is still possibility for continuation. No divergence there, but you see here, if it continues a little bit higher and gonna weaken, there is a reversal, because it will create also here something like this, and this is lower high, this is higher high. So let's say below this one, it's gonna break. I don't know if it break immediately here, but here you have the sign. Sorry, if we check it on the 1 hour chart, let me check. There is divergence, so probably below the blue for the safe 371, close below and enter 373. If you want to be more exotic and more adventurous about it, would be interesting. If it fails and moving for the upside, move along with it. mRNA. I hope you guys read the disclaimer, because this is not recommendation. This is only my thought. What's gonna happen? I'm not have any position on the I think most of the stock on the ETF. Yes. So mRNA. My prediction was if because of this break, it will break for it could even reach for the 180. I know, very long time, but so far, good one. If you follow it, this is a break, because you can see it's a break of the flag, but we don't see the sign yet. It didn't break the pattern, so you have a nice flag it. So if it's, I know people like to make a trend. I don't. I'm just here, there. If it breaks above, or for the upside, there is a divergence. There is no confirmation. So continuation for the upside. This is just selling pressure and taking some profit, creating a cushion for the upside. Could be very interesting. You can see it here, how it touched this level. Could resting here on the 100, 101, and then continue higher. There is a divergence there, and it's a little bit cross, so probably a little bit weight coming back above the 108, 109, coming for the upside. Could be very nice. Let's move for BA. I was positive about it, but sometimes there is the unknown. You can see what happened there. There was something about, again, 737 planes, and it just sold off. And when it coming in, computer buying, selling, cross above, touching the target, close below, touching next target. So what's gonna happen? Maybe closing the gap can push the market down. Big momentum for the downside. The sellers are in control, they have profit. I know there is a gap. Eventually someday it will close, but not at the moment. You can see momentum. Sellers are in the house, guys. So don't try to fight it. Maybe it will bounce from the 214 if you want to take the pounds. There is a divergence there, so if you see it here, if we take it something like this, you have 6180 key level 210. At the moment, big oversold, 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 so sellers in control. Don't fight it, guys. But could be interesting if you enter around here. Take some position. I know there is, you can see big gaps here. Small stop loss, because if it bounces and can continue and have some good news, it can move for the upside. At the moment, negative, guys. Gold. Gold didn't say much about it because we saw the sideways. So guys, it's sideways, so I don't care if it's red because it opened positive and closed positive compared to last day, but at the moment you can see it's sideways move. If we probably accumulating for a bigger move for the upside. I'm positive about the gold. You can see it here, so just waiting for it to give a sign, create a divergence for the upside. At the moment it seems that create a moving path for the downside, so it doesn't look that good, so be very careful about it. Can continue a little bit down. Silver, if we check it again, the weekly sideways, but break the trend here, but sideways move. No divergence there, nothing much. If we take it here, resting here, again bouncing up. We saw it on the 2050, but I don't want to be there for the longer run. I want to wait and have confirmation. At the moment there is none. Starting to be a little bit positive. Nice volume enter here, taking out stop losses and moving up. Could be very interesting, because if it will move up, guys, market probably move down. Oxy, I think I was correct about it. Yes, I know this is a target, but again, this is a key level. It needs to break the 55 again. And I know this is a momentum for the downside. Started to be a little bit positive, but could be interesting because let's check together. Here can bounce for the 50 and retest, can bounce even for the 61, 59 and retest, and sellers, let's also push it for the downside. If we check it on the daily, you can see it sideways move, and people say that the market's gonna be this way till the election, something like in September or something like that, in October. Sideways move could be very interesting. If we check it on the 1 hour chart, we don't see much, nothing much. I know buyers here, buyers entering, starting to DCA this stock and maybe moving, hoping for the move for the upside. People say the oil gonna be positive this year. They might be right. I don't know if at the moment. IWM, the Russell. Russell, I think I was right about the Russell. Yes. False break. Why Nvidia couldn't do so? False break, did a break, immediately push for the downside. Doesn't mean it's negative, but you can see the volume there. No divergence, so this is I think people are a little bit frightened about this. And you can see the candle, see how it looks. They don't love it, but any move for the downside will create divergence, and you can see it here. So let's see if it's resting on the 30. Let me check. No, not yet. So would be interesting to push a little bit down for the 188, resting on the Fibonacci, on the moving average, which is sideways move. So I know a lot of how you call it, investment consultant and banks consultant told me to get into the IWM at the beginning of the year. I told them I'm waiting to mid of January to see what happened. And I was correct, because if I was entering here, I don't want to start the year negative, even if it's a little bit. So at the moment, if we're checking the 4-hour charts, doesn't look that good. Red candle here, nice big candle, momentum a little bit negative. There is no divergence, could be a little bit continuation, start to be a little bit for a pullback again. You can see this is higher low, this is also higher low. So a little bit no divergence, but if it a little bit push lower, and resting on it, it could make divergence a little bit for retest here for the area, and then see if the sellers coming in. If they want, it will continue higher. It could be now, and then it could be very interesting. So guys, let's sum it up. I know there is 11 ETFs. So maybe I will take 2 or 3 of them, and there is no much to discuss, because only, I know, 1 week, 3 days, I don't know, but could be very interesting for day traders. So I will probably do a separate video about them. Would be very interesting to see. So hope you like it. Let's sum it up with the SPY. I know I'm telling for 3 weeks I'm biased for the downside because of this candle, and this give me confirmation. This one was a mistake. I thought there will be continuation. I didn't get a sign for continuation, but I thought it would get continuation for the moving average, and then I get this candle. Didn't love the volume there. Could be a fight. So either way, for the SPY and the Qs can go either way, so you have to wait and see. And that's it. I hope it was helpful, give you some key level for support and resistance and divergence that building up. Could be very interesting. So have a good week and successful one, and again, see you guys later. Bye bye.